is
Ready?
For the zombie apocalypse, I'm going to divide this question into 3 questions.
Okay.
Number 1, you have no money. Okay?
Yes.
You have no ability to spend money to make a purchase. And we didn't talk about this caveat. We're assuming that we are honest people and would not steal something. So for the first weapon in a zombie apocalypse around your home, what would you A, use, or B, build to use? That's my first question. I'm going to give the throw in here for all top 3 just to let our listeners know where we're going. Our second question is going to be, we have that as an option, but we also have a $500 budget, and assuming that we could purchase whatever we want, internet still works or whatever, you can order something, you can buy it locally for $500. Question number 3 is going to be our unlimited budget, no restricted funds. What are you doing during the apocalypse? So, and then for the first one with no money, let's give a top 3 weapons. Top 3 weapons.
Yes. So category 1, 3 weapons, no money. Category 2 is you have a $500 budget, and category 3
it's 1 weapon.
And it's gotcha. Okay, and then category 3 is an unlimited budget, 1 weapon. Yep,
exactly.
Okay.
So, but I want to let you go first. I want to hear your top number 1 of.
Okay. So my number 1. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the garage. I'm gonna rip up my clothes. I'm gonna grab the containers of used motor oil I have from performing oil changes for my truck, and I'm gonna cover my body in it to lower the scent and to make me look real rugged. Because I'm assuming that anatomically we're going off some kind of like olfactory system here, and they can smell me. So I want to lower that. I want to make myself blend in, and then I want to start acting and get a good limp down and a good moan. And I've got full zombie camouflage, and all I had to do was mess up my clothes, rip them up a little bit, rub myself down with motor oil. Does that count as my first weapon?
That's a first line of defense. I'm going to say it counts. Here's the huge flaw, because I think what we're going to do is go back and forth and then just kind of pick apart the pros and cons.
That's fine. That's fine.
So the big flaw with that, Tyler, is motor oil is going to dry out your skin. So that's not good.
That's okay. I've got other, things I'm trying to accomplish. Because here's the other thing. You don't know if zombies have emotions or not. We need to try and be as kind as possible. So I'm going to try and be as kind as possible. We're covered in motor oil. I got ripped up clothes. I'm ready to traverse the zombie apocalypse outside my garage. But each of my 3 weapons is going to be like it's going to be like an escalation of danger. So my second weapon is going to be my box of fireworks that I have sitting on my upper shelf. And I have my box of fireworks, and with it, I'm going to group together with it my little cigar lighter. The reason being, the cigar lighter, you can, it's sort of unidirectional. You can hold it upside down and it would still light. So if I'm running or something, very useful. Don't want to be like trying to mess around with the Bic or matches or anything. Got a cigar lighter and my box of fireworks, which I would probably disassemble, put into a nice fanny pack, something like that, or something bigger like a backpack. Perhaps a JanSport. But I got to kind of sling it off kilter on my shoulder, because I need to look like a zombie while I'm out there. If they notice me, now what's going to happen is I'm going to reach in my fanny pack really quick, grab a firecracker, light it quickly with a cigar lighter, toss it over a fence, continue to moan, grunt, and drag my feet. It starts popping 20 feet over in that direction. They all go over there. So I effectively have extremely useful noisemakers that I can quickly light and throw.
I like it. I don't see much in the side of negative other than being, so say you're going through like an abandoned house and you're looking for supplies and there's a zombie in the house. The only downside I see to the firecrackers is potentially you're going to set that house on fire while you're in it.
No. If there's a zombie in the house, I'm going to look them right in the eye, moan, nod, and just slide on by.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. I like it. That's a very bold way to approach the apocalypse.
So
you've already given top
here's
two.
my
Yeah,
third.
Go for the third
my
one.
third weapon is an ultrasonic pest repeller. Do you know what those are?
Oh, the noise. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a noise maker for rodents and insects, and most people can't hear them. I can hear them; they're terrible. Also for birds, that's how I discovered them. Um, my father-in-law has a bunch of them in his shop, and there's like no rodents in the shop anymore. He used to struggle with that, and now there's like none; they're gone because he's got these things going off. I can hear them, so I hate it. But I actually the first time I ever discovered them was I went to a client's house and I stepped out of my van and I was just ear piercing, like terrible noise. It was really high pitched. I almost couldn't hear it, but I could hear it. It was really, I swear, it gave me a headache. It was an exterior repaint. I was painting, working outside, and he had these beautiful, it was an expensive house, a wealthy client. He had these beautiful fruit trees, and he had all these nets and things around him. There was just a lot of wildlife. It was kind of like a rural area, and I guess it kept the birds away with this crazy. And he had them like on these sticks. They were like tiki torches, but they were little speakers going really super high pitched. So anyway, my thought is I'm going to have those things. I'm going to have one of those guys in my, that could be found. It's in my garage. Get one of those things. And that's my last resort. I can maybe have that, strapped to my leg, click on if I'm in the abandoned house or whatever. My fireworkers, if they've perhaps have recognized me and are starting to wonder one of these things does not belong with me, and they're thinking this guy maybe, if they get suspicious and my acting is not working and I quickly light and toss a firework and it doesn't get enough of their attention, they're kind of all looking at me, I'm going to click on the ultrasonic repeller because one of two things is going to happen. They're all going to hate it and not want to come near me, or it's going to summon all of them directly to me very quickly. But
that could be bad. Yeah.
All in. It's going to work or it's not.
I suppose if you find out that it is an attractant and not a deterrent, you could always rip it off and toss it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can bail on it because if they really don't like it, then you're like, here, have it, and then run. And then you're kind of wildly throwing fireworks around as you're running. But they can't smell me, so this is my strategy. Please tell me yours.
So, Tyler, like many things that you and I talk about and the way that we, though you can and do take things sometimes very seriously, especially when necessary, yes. I always take everything seriously except for things that should be taken seriously. I don't take seriously, like, funerals. And
what's weird? I actually followed everything that you just said, strangely.
Yep.
So, okay.
So, anyway.
So what you're telling me is this is a really useless subject, and you took it extremely serious.
Absolutely, I did. So number one weapon that I have for a very long list of reasons is very practical. Is my camp axe. It's made by Estwing.
It's gonna get stuck. That's all I have to say about that. It's gonna get stuck in their head. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
That depends on the skill set of the user, and because it's my axe and it's the axe that I use for splitting kindling, I have no problem. I have no doubt in my mind. I know exactly the exact right pop and twist to get it unstuck. No problem.
That's fair.
Also, once you get through the skull, it's soft inside. Soft as Jello.
It also might be soft anyway, depending on the zombie universe we're living in. But okay, continue. So I accept and that's also a very useful tool, right?
Right. Hold on. Don't even start guessing things because I got a list here. But what we should do, which is a very morbid test, at some point when I have a dead animal skull, whether it's from hunting or slaughtering an animal, we should test out hitting the skull with that camp axe to see if it gets stuck or to see if it even really penetrates very deep.
That would be a disgusting and awesome test. So yes, I agree.
Yeah. So the reason that I like the camp axe for self-defense against zombies is it gives you, in comparison to some of my number 2 item, is there's a little more distance there, even though it's obviously a close quarters weapon.
Because that's like a 2 foot. It's like 2 foot, right? It's a little.
No, it's like 3 feet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's a cool axe.
I love it. It's small enough and compact enough that you're not carrying around an actual like splitting maul, and
Right.
but it's fast, it's lightweight enough that you can get a good heavy heft behind it, but it's not so small that it's like an actual hatchet.
Yeah.
It's great, but it has the blade on one end, and then the backside, like most hatchets or axes, has what you could use as a hammer on the back, so it has that flat surface. So blunt force trauma with that if you needed to. In some situations, you could, if you had to, use the handle for leverage, prying things open or whatever. It also is much quieter than most weapons, so obviously the blade is going to be quieter than the knife, and probably I would think that the blade would be quieter than using a blunt force weapon like a bat. Like a bat to a skull is going to make a cracking noise, whereas the blade would be probably slightly less noise.
Bat's gonna break also after a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It is. You got to think about weapon wear.
You got to keep your bat waxed.
You gotta keep it waxed so that a little bit of slip to it that way. Yeah.
You can obviously with the camp, you can split wood for making fires. You can cut down trees for shelter. You could break down doors and glass. So you, with your list of stuff, you don't have any. It doesn't help you break into things. You know, the axe.
No, my kit is to traverse to somewhere better. That's really the only good thing.
Mine would be the camp axe would be very much an intentional use for excursions where you're planning on coming in contact with something and you need to remove the zombies from a location, or you need to do some executions. And I know this is disgusting as well, but that cutting edge is going to be good for cutting up food. You clean it, run it through some boiling water.
I don't really want to try zombie meat because it's really human.
No. I just mean your own personal food. You have a blade in the axe to process food.
That's true.
You can cut clothes. You can cut rope. You can cut through small chain.
It's a simple, basic blade. I mean, it's going to be able to do an incredible amount of things. Very, very useful. If
you add flint, which I'm not gonna, that's cheating if I say it comes with flint because it doesn't. But if you add flint, you have a fire starter.
That would be a second tool. That would be a second weapon.
So I'm gonna say it has that possibility. I don't have flint tied to my camp axe, so I would say that's cheating.
Although
I
would say in this, I would say that's going to maybe be in your little fanny pack that you get to bring with your 3 weapons or something. Okay, cool. So
all right, so that's weapon number one. That's my weapon number one. Do you have any other teardowns of it?
No, it's just going to get stuck in the zombie skull. That's what I think. And you're not going to be able to prove me wrong until we swing it into a deer skull, as terrible as that is. I'm not really going to be able to sleep in my, ultimately, unless I know that. So anyway, going to get stuck. Moving on. Pretty good, though. That's super solid. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is I have a machete from Fisker, the brand Fisker. It's pretty nice. I'll send you a link of what it is. But it's basically just the Fiskers always kind of takes they're like a Swedish design of regular things. So it's a regular looking machete, but it has like a modern, so it's a composite handle. Cool design on the curve, a nice big wide blade. So that's my number 2, and it's my number 2 for so many reasons that are on the list of number 1. You could use it to process food. You could use it to
you could
cut
pry
down trees.
things open.
You could pry things open. You could, chop into things.
Maybe machete, but when strike, you could, do serious damage. Machetes, machete.
So, and then in theory, would actually lean toward, which I don't own, but instead of the machete, the one that actually is, this is still my number 2, but what I would actually want is the blade, the kukri, and I'm sure you know what the kukris look like. They're basically like a machete, but they're like half the size.
They're cool.
And so that's really my number 2, but I don't own one, so I'm going with the machete. Number 3, which I don't own, is the katana. And I would go with the katana
in your garage.
Go with the katana.
That's like there's like the kind of the nerdy, Minecraft guy or the really nerdy martial arts guy. Weirdly, those two worlds kind of mix.
Joe Rogan has a katana.
Yeah, I probably am going to get one at some point because I'm getting really into Japanese history recently. So I'm probably moving in the samurai direction for sure, and end up with a katana in my garage.
So that's my number 3. If we say that the number 3 can't be used because I don't personally
You
own
can.
it right now.
I'm gonna say that you can, but I'm gonna tear it down.
Let
totally
me
tear it down.
go ahead
It's
and tear
gonna-
it down, and then I'm going to give you 2 others that I do own that are my supplemental, and they'll be super quick. So go ahead and tear it down.
Do your super quick supplemental while I like something.
Supplementals. So I run the Spartan races, and they have a javelin toss is one of the things, and I actually made 6 javelins to practice for that, and they're physically actually in the corner in my garage. So javelin would be my number 3, and then the other number 3 supplementally that I actually have is a bow and arrow that's in the garage. So use that.
Yeah, love it. There is a sport, or sort of a sport, sort of event, kind of a thing, in Japan called tameshigiri. Tameshigiri, and it is the art of drawing a katana, and with one swipe to cut through this huge bundle of fiber. I think it's bamboo or some kind of bundle of fiber. It's like a uniform thing. They do the same way every time. So
it's the Japanese version of the Western quick draw.
Yeah, but it's to test a sword's sharpness, but it's also to test one's ability to cut with a katana, and it is significantly harder than you would imagine if you just look it up. Tameshigiri, it's amazingly difficult to cut through this like 12-inch bundle of bamboo, like really hard, even with an excruciatingly sharp like samurai blade, like literally so like it's honed. And it's really difficult because there's so much at play with a two-handed over one shoulder downward angled 45-degree strike. So it's all the power turning with the hips and everything. It's almost like a golf swing. Like there's all this technicality to the body's motion and the angle of the blade and the degree of force and whip that you put into it. And in one strike, boom, they get one attempt, no warm-ups, boom, and they're graded on that. And it's pretty fascinating. 9 out of 10, easily 9 out of 10. What happens is it cuts halfway through and gets stuck right in the middle. It's very difficult to cut cleanly all the way through. When they do it, it is the coolest looking thing because they're cutting at a 45 angle and it's a straight big stack of bamboo or fiber, and when it cuts straight through, it's like exactly. It's like the scene out of the movie where it's like it slides off perfectly, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome.
But it's very difficult to achieve, and somebody who has been practicing over and over and over and over in order to achieve that. So my problem with the katana is, as cool as it is, I think I just don't think it's going to be specifically in the context of zombies. I think you're just going to be lodging your blade into zombie chests a lot.
No, I think
not great.
Decapitation. And I think
I know, but I think without knowing exactly how difficult that is, you're banking on a lot. But it's cool.
No, Tyler, I definitely could do it. I'm standing here in my garage, picturing myself do it, and I could definitely do it.
So that's my teardown.
No,
anyway.
that is a very
but I love katanas. They're awesome.
practical teardown. That is very realistic because the movies make it seem very easy, but I've never hit a spinal cord with a sword. You know,
so you want to know mine was kind of goofy, although I'm going to keep going with it. My non-violent zombie approach, but I think a crowbar or a full 4-foot sledgehammer. Those are by far the best. Those are the best because although they're heavy, what you've got is one moderately it's not even like technical. So it's not even moderately technical. It's like one mildly technical, like fairly accurate, good strike to any joint, specifically the knees, what is like the best, or the hips, and your
how many
and this is morbid, but
head of the sledgehammer. What's your ideal weight?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the garage I'm yanking it out of that I happen to be living in the potential future or whatever. But in generally speaking, though, I want a. It's terrible, but this is morbid. I want a blunt object because if it's a zombie, it's significantly easier to, with a blunt object, break joints, just to break bones, than it is to be decapitating things off.
Yes.
It just is a lot. It's just a lot easier to like kind of crunch a bone than it is to cleanly cut through it. And also not knowing the zombies or like if their nervous system, how connected it is to their dead brain or whatever. Like how, like if you cut off the head, does it keep wandering around? Like I don't know. I just want to make it really difficult for those bodies to be very mobile, and so I can kind of move away. So in my mind, Sledgehammer is great. Big, full iron, thick, round crowbar is one of the best because it's a tool in so many capacities. It's not quite as heavy, but it's still heavy enough to do breaking like blunt damage. To me, that would be the number one kind of a thing. But I'm going to keep on with my Motor Oil Fireworks rodent noisemaker. Better. Let's stick to it.
Okay, I like it. And then let's jump into number 2. You've got $500 to spend.
Okay,
what are you going to spend it on?
Okay, so you forwarded me this, and I was like, well, I made a kit. So I made a kit, not one weapon. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You do your kit, and I'm going to tell you my one weapon.
Okay. Here's this in my kit. I've got a set of small smoke grenades, which I price checked. A set of firecrackers. They're like literally fireworks that are ideal as noisemakers that you can throw. With my little cigar lighter, 1999. A mobile strobe light taped to my backpack. It's actually got a great battery in it. It's still in my budget. So I can click that on.
Wait, is that attractive or a deterrent?
It's going to make it really hard for them to understand what the hell is going on while they're chasing me. So that's like an emergency thing when they're already chasing me. And then as in a secondary emergency thing, I can like grab it, take it off because it's duct tape. So I can rip it off and just throw it on the ground. So that if it is working again as an attractant, so I'm doing things that are either going to just
test in the field. Yeah,
I'm really
flexible, adjustable.
I'm also really trying to break into, if we're in a post-apocalyptic society, what really needs to be happening is we need some researchers live in the field testing some things out. And I'm going to be doing that along the way. So if I survive any number of excursions, I'm going to be writing about it on the ham radio, telling everybody what to do. Strobe lights, people. They don't work. Don't do them.
Tyler, I like this analysis. In my head just popped you and I sitting down with the scientists being like, all right, Tyler, so you went out in the field. What did you test? I tested these 15 different things, and I found out that this had this effect, that had that effect. All right, Nathaniel, what did you find out? I found out if you hit them in the head real hard, they die. All right, that's good. That's good. What else did you test out? That's it. They just die if you hit them in the head real hard.
Yes. Okay, so I've got smoke grenades for escape, firecrackers for distraction, a mobile strobe light duct taped to the top of my backpack for confusion, distraction, and potential drawing that I can rip off and sort of de-escalate with. My backpack for budget purposes, because I needed to buy that too, right? It's a backpack with a Bluetooth speaker built into it, and it is playing ear-piercing ultrasonic pest repellent tones found on YouTube, downloaded before my excursion out into the Wild West.
What is that?
So it's really, really nasty high tones that will literally like destroy like your eardrums. Really nasty, like nasty high tones, like assaultingly harmful tones played very loudly. And then I've got some cheap noise canceling headphones just to kind of help me not be losing my hearing while this is happening. And this is all in hopes that the hearing anatomy of the zombies is intact. If it's not, then I'm going to quickly reach down my iPhone and I'm going to skip, and I'm just going to turn on Celine Dion to just make my death tongue-in-cheek, I guess, because why not at that point? You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's my $500 test kit. Oh, yeah, I was messing around with trying to figure out how to get some kind of like nerve gas going or something, but that's where I stopped. So I still think I have some extra money, but not enough to do anything good. So I'll probably get an illegal suppressor and silence a high point 9mm. So for $150. There's my number 2. What's yours?
My number 2 is 5 words, AK-47.
Is that 5 words?
It's not 5 words. Nope. Nor can you find one for $500.
Yeah.
No, I love the AK just because.
No, you can. I saw one at a pawn shop for that much.
Well, you know what's interesting? I looked into it, and I'm super curious about the one that you saw, because the AK-47 is a certain class of machine gun from the federal government. So you need, I believe it's like called a Class 3 license for firearms.
Uh-huh.
So there's a bunch of hoops you have to jump through, and the biggest hoop for it is financial. So you have to pay basically a fee of several $1,000s to the government to officially purchase one.
Yeah, I wonder if it was legit. It was also like a Lebanon fast cash. So
it
who
might
knows?
be that the price of the gun is that amount, and then they go, yeah, that's fine, but there's a government tax you have to pay. Like the tax isn't included.
That's $1,000, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, which
so
is
you're
totally,
you're thinking a fully auto weapon. That's what you're gonna go with.
But not the AR-15, the AK-47, because the AK-47 has just been battle proven to be super reliable. Not that the ARs aren't, but with the ARs, you need to keep them very clean. They're not as resilient to the mud and dirt and all that stuff
as an AK is.
Not as accurate as the AR, but you're shooting zombies. You don't need to be. You're not sniping somebody, 200 yards away.
That's true. You want to know
close.
my other like kind of terrifying theory is just like we also don't know if bullets are even very impactful towards zombies. You know what I mean? We don't know what zombie universe we're in.
One headshot will take out a
the brain.
skull.
Yes, you got to go for the brain.
Therefore,
that's true.
One headshot on a zombie should be enough.
Okay. Well, I kind of dig my $500 kit a little better than your AK. Although, if I had,
it was a total cop out. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if somebody had to choose, if we were both loaded out, and it's the post-apocalyptic world, and somebody needs to choose whether to go with Tyler or Nathaniel as like to go with them, like we're going in different directions, and they're looking at me, and I got my strobe light backpack and Celine Dion playing, and I'm about to turn on Rodent Tones, and I've got smoke grenades and firecrackers, and they look at you with an AK. I think they're going to go with you, Nathaniel. I'm going to be honest here.
That's true.
My outfit and my gear is not describing the word safety. So
you're really rocking a one-man show, and you're also a nimble, athletic human.
I mean, here's the deal, too. Like, you are also going to draw every zombie in the county towards you once you start firing. And I'm as the person who wants to stay safe, I'm thinking, that's great. As soon as he starts shooting, I'll run, and then, I'm going to be getting ignored. So
the only difference, I think, between you and all of your fireworks and stuff and me and the AK is that you're going to also call in everyone in the county based on your fireworks, but you're going to be moving away from the noise.
Yes.
The AK only makes noise when I make noise. So I shoot around, but then I move from that location. So then zombies are going towards that location that I made the noise.
Oh, that
so
sounds.
Depending on.
Honestly, that sounds very stressful. Not that strobe lights and firecrackers and cigar lighters aren't, but.
Yeah,
you have to reload too. You're running. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. It's all a lot.
It is a lot.
Okay, what's your number 3? Unlimited budget. You go first this time.
Unlimited budget. This is a long one, Tyler. You want me to go first?
I'm ready.
I'm breaking the rules on this one.
Oh, how are you breaking rules? It's unlimited money.
I'm going to tell you how I'm breaking the rules because it's not a weapon. It's not a weapon. It's a lifestyle.
If we can break rules, I would do a lightsaber.
Here's my weapon with an unlimited budget.
Okay.
I'm building a modern castle on land that has spring water. As many viable, fertile acres as possible.
No.
It provides self-reliance.
With a moat? You're going to do a moat of acid or something?
No, not that crazy. Self-reliance, wind, solar energy, garden, farm, greenhouses, a cannery,
zombies.
Tanning, hunting, fishing,
zombies.
Animals, self-fed animals,
zombies.
Ammo production, forages, machining, manufacturing, tree farms, paper mills, Angora goats and sheep for their fiber, hemp.
This is all
for
great.
Its fiber,
zombies,
CBD, wool,
zombies.
Cows, pigs, chickens,
zombies.
Goats, ducks, swans.
It sounds like you need
food,
employees.
Hydroponics.
You're gonna feed all of them every day.
Plant food. I already talked about all the food. Freeze drying, radio technology. That's where you jump in. Internet servers, so we can get.
So you
back
do
on
have
Facebook.
employees. I'm gonna be there working my.
capabilities, many living
Okay,
spaces.
hold on. Why
horses
are
for
zombies
travel,
not eating everybody there? They're
diesel
eating everything.
manufacturing, brewing and distilling, water reservoirs, lakes and
Okay.
ponds, set up a community, a militia, and security with drones and patrols.
Wow.
That's my unlimited budget.
So
That's my weapon. My weapon is society itself.
I love it. Have you ever seen World War Z?
Yeah.
You know, they climb the walls of Israel,
Yep.
like by piling dead bodies onto. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
I don't think you're gonna survive. I would rather be running around half naked in the wilderness, covered in motor oil with a strobe light.
That's how all my employees start out. And they find this respite in this land, and they come here, and we live successfully.
That's
No, I
great.
think I kind of got this idea from 28 Days Later, when they go on the military compound has the barbed wire and the lights.
Isn't the whole thing that it's like a is that the movie with this? There's an island, and it's like they can't swim. It's like, oh, so Hawaii's fine, you know?
No, there's no island. It's in the UK. And it's a military base. It's military personnel who take over a castle.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, got it.
And all that.
Well,
But
you
the
want to know
military guys are not
I
good
didn't
guys.
break any rules when I did my number 3. You want to hear my number 3?
I do want to hear it, yeah.
Unlimited money. Okay, so first of all, I have about 12 airtime, like flight hours in a Cessna. So I feel like it's possible I could not kill myself.
Wait, time out. I have a joke. Unlimited money. You invest
in a Cessna.
No, hold on. You invest in cigarette campaigns because cigarette is the silent killer, and you get all the zombies addicted to cigarettes, and then they kill themselves. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Actually, I would just do. I would get a field. The field sprayer with the plane, with the field sprayer, and I would just and I'd hit them all with glyphosate, because then I would know that in 10 years they'd all be dead of various cancers and things.
Yeah.
It'll get them later.
That's a part of that's my
be a good preventative into the apocalypse type thing.
That's my phase 7 of my homestead is glyphosate
get glyphosate out there.
So you come crawling onto my property all covered in grease with your firecrackers and strobe lights, and within 2 years I got you running a prop plane spreading glyphosate.
And that's good I'm covered in grease, because glyphosate's water soluble and it can't get through my grease layer to get into my body.
But your skin's going to be dry.
That's true.
So that's a whole living hell in and of itself, dry skin every day.
It's true, man. Okay, so here's you ready to hear my actual thing? So I'm going to get a Cessna. I'm going to get a Cessna Skyhawk. It's a cheap little plane because I know how to fly it. I know how to take off very successfully, do my pre-flight check, take off, and I'm good. I'm not super good at landing, to be honest, independently, but I can fly and take off. So I got the first 2 steps is good. I don't really need the third one, because strapped to my Cessna, I'm going to have an AN-602 hydrogen bomb. It's the largest known thermonuclear bomb made by man. Strapped to my Cessna. And it will be time to end the zombie apocalypse. Because let's be honest, all of these various weapons and survival tools and all these things we discussed, if it's a zombie apocalypse, it's a living hell and it needs to end. And the people hold up in bunkers and houses and things. And you know, we just need to try and give them a chance. We need to clear the streets. Hydrogen bomb time. That's my number 3. They're very expensive. So that's why it's an option.
I like it. But once you drop that hydrogen bomb, then you obviously can't live in that location. So what's the point of eliminating all the zombies through a hydrogen bomb if you can't even live there after the fact?
Well, you know, I can go somewhere else. I can populate, make children, and then I can say, hey, listen, when you are old, you can go to this place that I bombed.
That has very little radiation now.
Yes. But no zombies, so that's good.
Yeah, I like it. I feel very well prepared for the never going to happen zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, me too. Actually, you know, honestly, a better number 3 would have been some kind of mega, you know, sailboat, because it doesn't need fuel. Like an awesome sail houseboat with weapons on it.
And all you do, you just go to land, but your sailboat's equipped enough that it can pull resources from the ocean, like seaweed and fish and all that. The only reason you ever go to land is actually pull into port for a beer stop, basically.
Yeah, and then leave. Yep. I like it. This is a good plan. Okay, so zombie apocalypse comes, ladies and gentlemen. What you need to do is go jump on a boat. That's probably the best thing. Make sure to bring strobe lights and rodent noisemakers and firecrackers. They're helpful in getting to the boat. My whole strategy revolves around motor oil is also helpful. Some acting skills are really great. But, get to the boat, make sure it's sail propelled, and get out there and learn to fish. So, yeah. Unless zombies can swim, that would be very bad. If you have any suggestions for us or anything you feel like we definitely should have or should not have talked about, please email us at imaginarysecretaryjeff@gmail.com. And keep it classy, Joy Tank listeners.
I think that's it. I hope this episode that we took a ton of personal time and grew personally as well a lot while doing research. It brought some joy to your life, some knowledge, and made you a more mature, responsible person. Alrighty, over and out.